Welcome to Sabeena's Edu channel. Today we are discussing about digital money security. It includes exchanging coins, blind signature and protection against double spending. Today Anandakrishnan will take the session. He is a final year student of Information Technology, University College of Engineering, Karyavattam. Let's welcome Anandakrishnan for taking the session.
Hello guys, my name is Anandakrishnan. I'm a final year BTech student, and as Sabeena ma'am may have told, I'll be doing today's video, and in today's video we'll be covering blind signatures, exchanging coins and protection against double spending, all of which comes under payment, transaction and traceability, which is an important part of the third module. So let's move straight to the video. So, hi guys, today we are here to study one of the main essay topics of module 3, which is digital money security. The other essay question would probably be from web security. So this is a really important question. So let's move right on to payment, transaction and traceability. We know that when a customer usually goes and withdraws money from an ATM machine, even though the notes have serial numbers, the machine does not record which all notes containing which all serial numbers were given out in normal cases. So nobody knows in whose hand the money is actually. Sure, we can trace the ATM card owner, but we cannot trace exactly in whose hand the money is right now. But unlike that, digital currency exists in a digital form, so it is pretty easy to create a log and record all the transactions using a digital currency. So the pair or the receiver's identity may be revealed from the log, so this is unwanted because it is a breach in privacy. To prevent this, we use special mechanisms, and those include these three mechanisms: blind signature, exchanging coins, and protection against double spending. We'll be covering these three topics in today's video. So we'll move on right to blind signature. What exactly is blind signature? Well, it's a cryptographic mechanism to blind the connection between the coins issued and the identity of the customer. That is, a third party should not know who the customer is or the identity of the customer from the coins that has been issued. It provides both pair anonymity and payment transaction untraceability. It works based on the RSA signature. The RSA signature we have studied in cryptography back in last year, and I don't know if you remember it, but I'll give you a basic working idea of what RSA signature is. This is RSA signature's basic working, I say again. It is an asymmetric cryptography. So what happens is, let's take the classic case of Alice and Bob. So let's take that Alice wants to send Bob a message, and she does this by taking Bob's public key and using it to convert her plain text into a ciphertext. This KE here is actually Bob's public key. Okay, so now the ciphertext is sent via the internet and it is received by Bob, who then uses his private key to decrypt the ciphertext, make it into the plain text, and he simply reads it. In a vice versa case, if Bob wants to send Alice a message, he takes his plain text, encrypts it with Alice's public key, and sends it over an internet. And Alice now has the ciphertext. She just decrypts the ciphertext using her own private key and converts it in the plain text so that she can read the message. Now, what happens in blind signature is somewhat similar to what has happened in the RSA mechanism. So, there is three actual steps or three steps involved. The first one is blinding the message that the user wants to send. The message is M and K is the blinding factor. So the new message or the cipher message would be MK-mod N, and when it is brought to the signer cannot see what he is signing. So the signer just signs whatever he receives, and the blind signature is computed by the signer, and he signs the message. So the new signed message would be S dash equal to M dash raised to D mod N. So it has both the blinding factor and the receiver's or the authority's signature. Now the signer has signed the e-currency and gives it back to the user, who just removes the blinding factor from it. He has the blinding factor K, so he just removes it by dividing the new S dash, so he has a message that has been signed. Okay, and now it can be used in transactions. So let's just see how it actually works using this graphical representation. So again, we have Alice here. She wants to buy a book from the bookstore. So what she does is she has her note number. This is the message M, and she just blinds it using a blinding factor. This is K, and now we get a blinded note number. This is M dash, that is MK mod N. Okay, and the message involved is debit Alice's account by $1. Now she sends it to the bank, and the bank manager has to sign this note. So he doesn't know what he's receiving, and he just blindly signs the uh, note, and it is sent out back to Alice. Alice now just, so this is S dash here, S dash, the note with the bank's sign, and now Alice has S dash, that is the signed note, and she just removes the blinding factor K from that, so she gets the signed banknote, which can be used in transactions. So this is S here. So now S is transferred to the bank, transferred to the merchant who is selling the books, and the merchant can now exchange the electronic currency for real money from the bank, since the bank has already signed the e-coins. But the problem occurring here is the bank is blindly signing whatever he receives from Alice. Instead of giving an honest message like debit Alice's account by $1, if she tries to get the bank sign on something saying debit Alice account by $10, then it's a fraud case and the bank would not know, and Alice can use the rest of the $9. So what happens is, to counter this, the bank would adopt a mechanism which involves Alice to send n number of different message n number of messages having different blinding factors to the bank. So instead of just M, she sends M1, M2, M3, etc. to the bank, and each has different blinding factors, like M1 has K1, M2 has K2, etc. etc. And now what the bank does is the bank chooses one randomly, one from M1, M2, etc. Maybe he selects M4, let's say he selects M4, and now there are the rest of the messages like M1, M2, M3, let's say M5 and M6. Now the bank chooses M4 and asks Alice for the blinding factors K1, K2, K3, K5 and K6. That is every other blinding factor excluding that of M4. So the bank now decrypts all the other messages. M1 was chosen at random, so it doesn't affect M1 even if the other messages are decrypted. And in the other messages, if everything is debit Alice's account by $1, then the bank knows that there is no foul play involved, and he just signs the M4 note and sends it back to Alice, who can use that for transactions, that signed note. So that's about blind signature. We have to remember that it is based on RSA. The signer cannot sign what he sees, and I mean the signer cannot see what he signs, and that the three steps involved are encrypting the message with the blinding factor, getting it signed, and removing the blinding factor. Now we move on to the next one, which is exchanging coins. It is also known as the net cash system and was developed by the Information Sciences Institute of University of Southern California. So it is also a payment transaction and traceability method, and it is based on trusted third parties. So what happens here is there is a set of trusted third parties which actually exchange identity based coins for anonymous coins. These trusted third parties are known as currency servers. There's a whole network of them. So the user just gives the currency server a coin with his, which could be identified that it is his, and the currency server just gives back a coin which is anonymous and nobody can trace it. However, it is weaker than the blind signature because even if all the parties conspire together, the user's identity cannot be revealed in blind signature. However, in currency servers, if the currency servers conspire with somebody else and the other two parties, I mean the merchant also conspires, then the identity of the user can be revealed. That is, if all the parties conspire, then we can detect who has spent the money. So it is a huge problem of trust arising. So the currency server must be honest, it must be trustable. However, the customer is free to choose any currency server he wants from the network of currency servers, and it's a 99% chance that it is honest, and probably there won't be any problem, but in case it conspires, then the identity of the customer can be revealed. Otherwise, this is a robust way of payment transaction and traceability. Next, we move on to protection against double spending. So what is double spending? Let's say you have made a transaction using Google Pay and you received a scratch card. If you have all the resources to scratch that scratch card again after scratching it one time, then probably there's a high chance that you would take that opportunity and make an illegal scratch again. So just like that, if a user can have or has the resources to spend the money again, or if he wants to spend the money again after spending it one time, then he may resort to illegally spending the cryptocurrency. That is, since it is mostly electronically stored numbers, so if the customer wants to uh, you know spend it again, the numbers can be easily copied, and they are done so arbitrarily often because most of the customers involved are highly skilled usually, and this is illegal. So we have to keep this in check. We have to prevent this, and there are three methods to prevent this. One is known as conditional anonymity by cut and choose. The second is blind signature, and the third is exchanging coins. So let's move right on to conditional anonymity by cut and choose method. The conditional anonymity is activated only when there's a dishonest customer. So practically, if the customer is honest and spends the money only once, then his identity is not revealed and there is user anonymity. However, if it is a dishonest customer and if he tries to spend the coin more than once, the digital money more than once, then his identity is revealed and he is caught. So what this mechanism does is it combines blind signature to a mechanism known as cut and choose. It is also called secret splitting or threshold scheme. Let's just see the formula or the equation on the right side. What happens in this is, the basic idea is to divide up a message M into smaller pieces, so that to reconstruct M we have to put together all these pieces or a subset of these pieces, um, so that we can reconstruct the original message M. Now we find M1 and M2 such that M equal to M1 plus M2. Now we can do this by choosing M1, which is random and has the same length as M, and we can compute M2 just by doing M2 equals M plus M1. It can be done vice versa also. M1 can be found if we have M and M2. So what happens is, this is the basic idea. In terms of digital money, each coin is assigned a serial number and n differently encrypted pairs I1, I2, etc. So the serial number is I, and each coin has n differently encrypted pairs I1, I2, etc. So if the customer is making a dishonest transaction, then his identity can be revealed using the formula I equals I1 plus I2. Okay, so what actually happens is, the customer pays the merchant with a coin, and the merchant requires him to decrypt either I1 or I2 from the message. So there are n, I have told you that there are n differently encrypted pairs. So if n is equal to 100, then there are 100 differently encrypted pairs I1, I2, etc. So the merchant requires the customer to decrypt either I1 or I2 from all of these messages. That is, from N1 he decrypts I1, from N2 he decrypts I2, from N3 he can decrypt I1 again or I2, whatever he likes. Okay, the customers can choose whatever he likes, and he gives the merchant the information. So the merchant probably has both I1 and I2 in his hand right now, so he tries to combine both of them and get I. Now when he has I, he can check it against the serial numbers that were already used in a transaction, and if I does match any of the serial numbers that have been used before, then we can know that the customer is a dishonest customer and his identity is revealed. However, if I has not been used in a transaction before, then we know that we can just use the customer's digital coin in a new transaction. This is what actually happens in conditional anonymity by cut and choose. The other two methods are blind signature, which, as we said, is based on the RSA, and the what happens in blind signature, the extra mechanism added is we store all the serial numbers in a database, and all the coins ever spent are recorded in that database. Every time a new transaction occurs, the serial number is checked in with the serial numbers present in the database. However, there's a huge problem of scalability, since a huge amount of data would be generated, and to store such a huge data, we'd have to have a really huge database. And the other one is exchanging coins. Here, the protection against double spending is uh, done when the customer exchanges his identity based coins for anonymous coins with the currency servers. So when he exchanges the coins again with the currency server knows that the coin has already been used in used in an exchange or in a transaction. So the currency server refuses to give him any more anonymous coins for the digital coin he has illegally procured. So this is what basically happens to protect against double spending. So we have to remember that there is conditional anonymity by cut and choose, and that blind signature and exchanging coins can also be used. That's all about protection against double spending. We have come to the end of the essay.
Thank you, Anandakrishnan, for this wonderful session. I hope everyone understand what is digital money security, exchanging coin, blind signature, and protection against double spending. I think this session is very helpful for final year students and also the digital money security stakeholder. Okay, that's all about today's session. Thank you. Bye.